Hi, welcome to the IR Magazine Awards here in Toronto. I'm joined on the red carpet by Marc Lakmaaker of Aurora Cannabis. Thanks so much for joining us, Marc.
No worries, thanks for having me here.
Absolutely. So how long ago did you join Aurora Cannabis?
I was working with them as a consultant for a while. That started a little over 3 years ago, or about 3 years ago, and then joined them in-house about a year and a half ago.
Sure. And so since you joined in a formal IR capacity, how has the company grown? How has the story changed?
Okay, well, it's the cannabis industry, so growth has been absolutely insane.
Yeah.
When I started working with the company, we had about 40 people. We're now approaching 2,500. That's just an indication of how the organizational structure has grown as a company. Operationally, we've grown tremendously as well. We've grown from 1 facility to 14 facilities, completed somewhere between 20 and 30 transactions in the last 2.5 years. Depending on how you count, we're the number one in the space globally. Gone from an upstart where we were, a year and a half behind the rest, overtaking everyone else. So it's just been growth, tremendous growth all along.
And how have you approached telling that story? Because, as you say, the cannabis industry is a kind of a once-in-a-lifetime industry kind of. So how have you approached telling a growth story of such scale in such short space of time?
It's been interesting. It's been in line with the information needs of our shareholders, which has gone in waves. There was a admittedly very strong giggle factor when the cannabis industry kind of first came to the scene. And that came along with early adapters. People who were probably part of the cannabis culture, a lot of people who had never invested in stocks before. Very different information needs. Then, as the word started spreading about the medical benefits of cannabis, we had the near and the dare of the people that had experience with cannabis as a medicine, who also thought this might make a good investment proposition. Fast forward a little bit, obviously tremendous liquidity, tremendous attention for the sector, tremendous growth. We saw the hedge funds coming in. Hedge funds have got different information needs from retail investors. And then slowly over the last year and more rapidly now, we see the long-only traditional asset managers coming in. So the information needs have changed very much. And if we can draw a parallel with the tech space, and in particular the clean tech space, where a lot of investors were originally invested in a dream and a concept, that is slowly transforming into math. Okay, guys, we know the industry is for real. There's tremendous growth here. How can you explain to me, in terms that I can transcribe into a mathematical model, how your growth is going to manifest itself? So that's changing information needs, and we have to change along with that.
Well, that's interesting. I was really curious with any cannabis company, how you approach earnings guidance, because trying to predict something in 6 months' time presumably requires a bit of a crystal ball in your position, given, how much has your market cap changed in the last 18 months?
Oh, in the last 18 months, I'm not quite sure, but like I said, when I started working with the company, we were 60, 70 million. Yeah. We're now 12 billion. Sure. So that's been tremendous growth. Yeah. In terms of guidance, you're right. It's very difficult in an industry where there's still so many unknowns. Some of them are related to regulations. What can we do? What can't we do? Some of them are related to how fast the international markets will grow. Some of it is related to substitution rates of the black market. So those are all things that we can provide some guidance to, but it's very difficult. On the other hand, we're operating in a market where demand hugely outstrips supply. So we can guide in terms of production levels. And, very simple top line, back of the envelope calculation is how much product do we have available for sale, what markets is this being allocated to, and what are kind of the average prices that you're realizing in those markets. So that gives a little bit of top line guidance. We're not there yet. We have guided towards EBITDA positive in Q4, probably the first one to do it at that level, because we're very confident in where we are also in terms of the scale up. But I think that's something you'll see evolving over the quarters and years to come.
Excellent. Well, thanks so much for joining us, Marc. I hope you have a fantastic evening.
Thanks so much.
Yes.
All right. Bye-bye. Thanks.